Good evening, everyone. I will call our City Council meeting held via WebEx to order of November 30th, 2020. If you could all please unmute yourself and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have one item on tonight's agenda, and that's to conduct a truth and taxation public hearing regarding the 2021 property tax levy and the 2020 revised / 2021 proposed budget and proposed 2021 utility rates. At the September 22nd, 2020 City Council meeting of the City Council adopted the 2021 preliminary property tax levy and announced November 30th at 6 p.m. as the date and time for the statutory truth and taxation public hearing. Hennepin County has mailed the proposed 2021 property tax statements to property owners in Richfield, which are based upon the proposed levy, and announced the date of the public hearing. So I just want to remind folks about tonight's meeting. It is the Truth and Taxation hearing, which is done once a year and mandated by the state of Minnesota to each appropriate unit of government to talk about the taxes that we will have for 2021. So it's an opportunity to inform our residents about property taxes that the city of Richfield's jurisdiction will have. And we also put this out on public notice, and folks are able to make petitions if they want or come and speak tonight. So I know we have a presentation by Director Regis, so I'll just pass it on to Director Regis to give us that presentation.
All right, I will try to share the presentation here. Hopefully I can do it without goofing up too bad. And let's get a slideshow going. All right, can everybody see that okay?
Yeah. Yep, we can. Okay.
All right, I'm going to discuss the 2021 budget and tax levy. Some of the key dates we've already had. We had our budget study session on September 10th. We adopted the preliminary levy on September 22nd. We are having our truth and taxation hearing tonight, which is November 30th, and we'll certify the final levy next Tuesday on December 8th. Okay, some of the key issues. Property taxes are the primary funding source, and they have been for several years now of the general fund. Within the general fund of the 2021 budgeted revenues, we have a little over $2 million of local government aid budgeted. Within the 2020 budget, we have a CARES federal grant of $2.7 million. Approximately, I think, a little over $2 million of that is within the general fund. We have a debt service levy for the 2028 bonds in the 2021 debt service or tax levy of $197,290. I did reduce some of the debt service tax levies by $150,000 using some of the cash in the debt service fund. This is probably just a one-year reduction of it. Going for 2022, we probably have to go back up to the certified amounts that we're supposed to levy. We also have police and fire personnel cost increases in the 2021 budget. It's the officers going through the step increases. We also have an increase in staff positions. We got, I think, 2 new positions in 2020 and 1 new position in 2021. We have an embedded mental health worker that is shared with Edina. We have purchase of body camera equipment, and that is going to be purchased in 2020. And then we have an $830,000 rolling stock levy, an equipment levy. That's a $15,000 increase from the prior year. There's just a history of our state aid. You can see that from 2020 to 2021, we're reflecting a $364,000 decrease in state aid that we're going to receive from the state. And that large part of that is due to our increase in our tax capacity value and our market value of the city. Just a little bit of a revenue comparison between taxes and intergovernmental revenue within the general fund. To go back to what I like to call our base year of 2001, taxes were 30% in intergovernmental revenues at 39%. Basically equal. We leap forward 20 years, taxes are now at 70% and intergovernmental revenues are now at 13%. Quite a dramatic shift over that time. We look at local government aid, which is the primary intergovernmental revenue within the general fund. In 2020, it was 5.46% of general fund revenues. In 2021, it was 7.48% of general fund revenues. Then we go back to our base year of 2001, it accounted for 24% of general fund revenues. That brings us to our 2021 proposed gross levy. It's right now, it's at $23.9 million. That's a 5.5% increase over the 2020 levy. It's comprised of the following components. The general fund levy is slightly a little bit over $19 million. The equipment levy is at $830,000, and the EDA levy is at $540,000. That gives us our base levy of $20.3 million. Our debt service levy is $3.5 million, and our tax abatement levy is $54,000, and that gives us the $23.9 million total levy. Look at our gross tax levy history. You can see the increases going back 10 years. I did an average of all these increases, and it's just below 4% average every year. Over a 10-year period, it's just below 4%. Our 2021 proposed general fund budget is $26.7 million. That's a 5% increase from the 2020 adopted budget, and it's a 0.73% increase from the 2020 revised budget. This table here shows us all the general fund revenues by category: taxes, licenses, permits, intergovernmental, so forth. There is, if you look at the intergovernmental line, you can see there's a big jump from the 2020 adopted to the 2020 revised. It's primarily due to recognition of CARES revenue, CARES grant revenues and stuff in that category. And then if you look at 2021, it's still higher than the 2020A, and that's recognition of budgeting for all of the local government aid that was certified to the city. Just a graphical comparison from 2021 to 2020, pretty comparable. Taxes are up about 5%. Intergovernmental revenues dropped down 6%. That's primarily due to the timing of the CARES revenues in 2020 versus they're not in 2021. It's a one-time revenue. At least so far, it's only a one-time revenue. So everything else is pretty comparable. If you go back 10 years, it looks very comparable. Intergovernmental revenues are a little higher than they were in 2011. Transfers are less than they were in 2011, but everything else is pretty comparable. Look at our general fund expenditures through all the general fund departments. Really, the only slight increase you can see is in public safety, and a lot of that is the personnel cost increases and also the body cams. And then in 2021, it continues to be the personnel cost increases, and also the new position is factored into that. Other than that, everything else is pretty comparable, though recreation services do has a pretty significant decrease from 2020 to 2020 adopted to 2020 R. Again, that's due to the pandemic and reduction of costs and things like that, which also meant a reduction in revenue, like a reduction in revenues for that department. Just a pie chart look at the comparison 2021 to 2020. Not a lot of change between departments and things like that. Transfers are down a little bit in 2021 versus 2020, but other than that, everything is very comparable. You know, if you look at our three largest departments, public safety, public works, and fire, they equal 75% of the general fund budget, or a little over $20 million. Our total general fund tax levy is only $18.6 million. Those three departments are pretty significant, but they're also our most visual departments. Our general fund history, as an average increase over the last 7-8 years, about 3.34%. If you look at our full-time personnel, we have 202 full-time budgeted positions. We had 2 new positions in 2020 and 1 new position in 2021. I think the 2 new positions in 2020 is the battalion chief in fire and then the equity coordinator. And then the new position in 2021 would be the video specialist in public safety. If we look at our 2021 proposed levy estimated impact, I'm only looking at a $250,000 property. In 2020, the tax would have been $1,332. We move that forward to 2021 with no market value increase. We're only looking at an $18 increase over the 2020 amount. We add in a 1.8% market value increase, then we're looking at a $42 increase on this size property, of this valued property. Our 2021 proposed capital improvement budget is at $29.5 million. Some of the major projects include 77th Street, pavement management program, several utility projects. and park play equipment replacements. Our rolling stock equipment purchases for 2021, total cost of the equipment is going to exceed $1 million. We only have a general fund tax levy or general tax levy to help fund that of $830,000. So that leaves the central garage and IT funds to fill that gap. And I try to help them out a little bit. I do some cash flow transfers in from our capital reserve fund to help those two funds out. I always like to have positive cash flow if I can help it in all funds and things like that. And that helps them achieve that. But some of the purchases are, there's a dump truck, an aerial truck, 3 detective hybrid vehicles, a vac trailer for utilities. Don't ask me what a vac trailer is because I don't know. And computer network infrastructure and equipment. We move on to some of the utility rates. All of the utility funds, all the rates within those funds are scheduled to have a 2% increase across the board. So if we look at the residential water rates in the tiered levels there, we're looking at an 8 cents per gallon increase, a 10 cents per gallon increase, and a 12 cents per gallon increase as we work up that level, those tiers and things like that in the water fund. We look at the Steward Fund, we're looking at $6.03 per thousand gallons. That's a 12 cents per thousand gallon increase for a typical user. The proposed increase is probably about 90 cents per quarter. And also one positive note is our MCS charges are approximately at $2.4 million. That is a decrease from the 2020 rate or 2020 amount, which is good news. That's helped the fund out tremendously. We're not paying as much into the Met Council the last couple of years. Look at our stormwater. We're looking at $20.76 for 2021. That's a 41-cent increase per quarter. Again, that's a 2% increase from last year. Some of the rationale for the rate increases, outstanding debt within the utility funds. There's a lot of debt within those funds. Capital infrastructure needs and requirements. We're going through it in the water and sewer funds. We're going through a meter replacement project. So that takes up a lot of cash. It's a lot of cost for that. Level of needed working capital, just annual operating expenses to maintain all three of these utilities. And also the MCS sewer charges, even though those have decreased, it's still a significant amount of money in that sewer budget, the wastewater budget. Well, where are we going? Well, we still have significant right-of-way projects in the future, 65th Street, the foremost of them. We have recreation infrastructure needs. A lot of park play features are planned to be replaced. Pool needs some work, things like that. We have pressure on our tax levy. A lot of that is the debt service. So we need to continue our long-term financial planning. We need to maintain our current level of quality service and also contain our operating costs. And I think that is all I have. I know I went through that fairly quickly, and I think you've all seen that before too. But the budget really hasn't changed hardly at all from the September 22nd meeting when you first saw it, and from our study session on September 10th. But I'll try to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Any questions from council members on the budget? Thank you so much for the overview, Director Regis. Questions from folks or comments? I would just like to thank our staff for the great job that they did, and every single year, but this year was a tremendous and unprecedented year with the process that we had, excuse me, reviewing our budget. We had several study sessions. We worked with staff to try to see where we could cut costs, where we could have savings, and where we could really innovate in relation to every single department, every single expense. And we walked hand in hand in this budget setting process and levy setting process to make sure that, you know, given all of the different factors with the pandemic and the downturn in our economy, that we were doing the best we can to use the wisdom and the expertise of our staff and the leadership and the vision that the council is accountable for, and combine that to make, you know, look through multiple scenarios that we needed to consider given the situation we are in today, and knowing that this is going to continue to affect us in the following years, for years to come, and that the decisions we make today based on what we're experiencing and the decisions that we make for our financial future are really going to determine how much we bounce back, how quickly we bounce back, and what kind of what getting out of this looks like. So it was above and beyond what our staff did, in addition to not only looking at where to cut, but how to take in this large amount of money from the federal government for CARES, get reimbursed and go through that whole process, then work with our schools, work with the county, work with all the different levels of government to respond to the pandemic and continue to provide great levels of service to all of our residents. So it was a tremendous year, and our staff did an exceptional job. And speaking to mayors from other cities, I know that the budget and the levy is a very hard decision and a discussion for all cities. And I'm really proud of the work that we all did together in Richfield. And I do think that it's going to help us come out of this stronger on the other end. So thank you, Director Regis. Thank you, City Manager Rodriguez. Thank you to all of our staff for the work that you did that was above and beyond with this pandemic. All right, it looks like we have no other comments right now. So I will open up the Truth in Taxation public hearing. And I'm wondering if Kelly can just jump on and let people know how they can call in for the hearing itself.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, residents can participate live during our public hearings. Feel free to give me a call here at 612-861-0651. I am here with the phone, and I can put you straight through to the meeting.
Councilmember Supple.
While we're waiting to see if anyone's going to call in, I did want to also say thank you for the thorough explanations in the capital improvement budget and the capital improvement plan that was sent out again to us recently, and it had a lot of really good information in it. So I just wanted to say thank you to staff for that.
Thank you, Councilmember Supple. We will wait a little bit to see if anyone wants to jump online. Councilmember Supple. I mean Troutman. Sorry about that.
No, since we have a little time while we're waiting, I'll just mention also. I mean, in addition to agreeing with everything that you said, Mayor, yeah, with Councilmember Supple, I just want to acknowledge that simultaneously you've dealt with COVID and you've dealt with a desire for more participation and more information, from council simultaneously. And so I just want to recognize, just like other people said, is challenging. We recognize the combination, and then of course, we're at a point where we have a lot of really critical but really large infrastructure items, and so thank you, Director Regis, and I lost him.
Looks like we lost your audio, Councilmember Troutman.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if that got cut off. Somebody was trying to call in.
There we go. Now we hear you.
Oh, I think the bottom line was thank you. It was really hard, and I appreciate your work.
Thank you, Councilmember Troutman. Councilmember Garcia, did you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to echo what everyone has been saying. I do think it was one heck of a awful 2020, and but it's like everything else with the staff. They really work hard, and they have to learn new things, and they have to navigate the system so we can make sure we can get more funding in, and per usual, the budget is, I think, clear, it's precise, and it's really appreciated in the way that the Regis, Director Regis has put the budget summary together, and I appreciate that very much. And I think that the public, if they want to look at that, all they have to do is go to the agenda button and press that, and they'll get the whole, however many 20-some pages of the budget. So thank you, Chris, and thank you, Katie, and the rest of the staff. Appreciate your hard work, and appreciate you just for always, just coming together and making things a lot easier for us and making things happen.
Thank you, Councilmember Garcia. I'll just go back to the public hearing. Is there anybody on the line for the public hearing?
Mayor, I have not received any calls.
Okay, thank you. Well, then I will make the motion to close the Truth and Taxation public hearing.
I'll move it, Mayor.
All right, it's been moved by Mayor Regan Gonzalez and seconded by Councilmember Garcia. Any additional questions on the public hearing before we move to the next motion for this? Nope. Analyst Martinez Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Regan Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilmember Sapple,
Aye.
Councilmember Troutman,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Wayland.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes.
The public hearing has been closed, and I will make a motion to schedule the final action of the 2021 property tax levy and the 2020 revised 2021 proposed budget and proposed 2021 utility rates for the regular city council meeting of December 8th, 2020.
Councilmember Wayland, I'll second.
Thank you. The motion has been made by Mayor Regan Gonzalez and seconded by Councilmember Wayland. Any additional or last questions from council members? Councilmember Wayland.
I'll just make a quick comment since I haven't spoken up at all yet. I certainly appreciate all the work staff has put into this, and will echo those comments. I also think I just want to say that a budget is very much a moral document and is our statement of what we care most about and where we put our values and where we're going to invest our literal money and also our time and energy. And I think there's a way to approach hard years like this that are rooted in a sense of scarcity and a sense of fear out of what may come. And I am really proud that we are leaning into what kind of future we want to build and investing to make that happen. So I'm really proud of this budget. I know there's been a lot of challenges this year, but I think it's got us well positioned for the future.
Absolutely. Thank you for those comments, Councilmember Wayland. Any other comments from folks? All right, Analyst Martinez Gavinia, could you please take the roll call vote?
Mayor Regan Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilmember Sapple,
Aye.
Councilmember Troutman,
Aye.
Councilmember Garcia,
Aye.
Councilmember Wayland.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes.
Motion has been approved. We have no other business on our agenda tonight, so I will adjourn our meeting. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Thank you for that great presentation, Director Regis, and have a great night, everyone.